Today, I'm going to show you how to automate the provisioning of AWS SageMaker Studio using Cloudformation. Manually setting up SageMaker Studio through the console works fine for small teams, but it is not scalable for larger enterprise environments. That's where automation comes in. AWS offers tools like Cloudformation and Service Catalog to accomplish this automation. In this video, we will focus on using Cloudformation. I will cover Service Catalog in a future video. So let's dive in and explore how to automate the provisioning of SageMaker Studio with Cloudformation. First, we need to create the Cloudformation template. AWS provides two helpful documentation resources, one for writing a Cloudformation template for the SageMaker Studio domain, and another for creating user profile or studio users. Here is the documentation for writing SageMaker Studio template, along with the example syntax you can follow. Similarly, this documentation shows how to use Cloudformation template to create the user profile or studio users with an example syntax as shown here. If the concepts of domains and users are new to you, please check out my previous video on provisioning SageMaker Studio using quick and standard setup. Here is also a repository you can check out for more advanced implementation of Cloudformation template for SageMaker Studio domain. So if you are comfortable with Cloudformation, you can modify it to suit your project. I will put the links to these documentations in the description so you can check them out. Now I have already written a basic Cloudformation template as shown here, following the guidelines from the two documentation I showed previously. Let's walk through it, but keep in mind that I am assuming you have some basic knowledge of Cloudformation. This template automates the creation of SageMaker domain and a user profile. The SageMaker domain resource, which is represented as this, sets up a secure environment for machine learning projects, and this includes these key properties which we have here. The app network access type property specifies the internet access. We have set it to public internet only, allowing resources in the domain to be accessed through the internet. You can also choose VPC only for internal access only. Auth mode specifies the authentication mode. Here we are using IAM for managing user permission. You can choose another method that are valid based on the documentation if you don't want to use IAM. Default user settings defines the settings that apply to all users, like the execution role that grants necessary permissions for SageMaker tasks. The domain name is simply the name of the studio domain we are creating, and we have called it DSRD10. The subnet IDs and VPC IDs define where the domain will run within the VPC and subnet that we set up in a specific region. Because I did not want to set up my own VPC and subnet, I'm utilizing the default VPC and subnet in my region. And let me quickly show you how you can retrieve these values, assuming you want to use your default VPC ID and subnet IDs. Now let's go to VPC and recall I'm on Ohio region, so I'll click on this, and this is my default VPC, and when you click on it you can retrieve the VPC ID, which is my default VPC ID. And if you are also interested in the subnets under this VPC, you can select one of these IDs or more if you want your domain to utilize more than one subnet. Now let's head back to our template creation. Once you are done with creating the SageMaker domain, then you create the SageMaker user or user profile. Here is the key properties you have to assign value to. For the domain ID, we are utilizing href here because we want to dynamically assign SageMaker domain ID that will be created once this SageMaker domain resource runs. Here is just the user profile name, which I have called Tochi. So this is the name of the user that will be listed under the domain that is created here. User setting properties such as execution role provides the user, which is Tochi in this case, the necessary permission to perform tasks within SageMaker Studio. Be sure to check out the documentation for additional options and properties that might benefit your project. Once the Cloudformation template is ready, then it's time to deploy it. And you can do so using AWS CDK, but for this demonstration, I will use the console. So I'll head over to the AWS console and select Cloudformation service. And I'll create a stack. I'll choose an existing template, and then I'll go with upload a template file. Then I'll choose template file, and I'm just choosing the template I just showed you guys a few minutes ago. So I will upload it, click next. I'll provide a stack name, which I called Provision SageMaker Studio with IAC, and click next. Now I'm fine with all this. I'll click next. Template is ready, so I'll go ahead to submit. So it is currently creating this Cloudformation template, trying to launch those two resources we created earlier, and I'll check back once the creation process is complete. So it is done creating, and that means that our SageMaker Studio and user profile should now be up and running. So let's confirm this by going to SageMaker, and then we will click on domains, and you can see DSRD theme is now in service. And when you click on it, you check out the user domain, you see that the Tochi user has also been created. And we can launch any of these apps under this domain, and we'll choose to launch the Studio app. And there you have it. We have our SageMaker Studio up and running for the user Tochi, and now the user can start using this IDE for their projects. And this brings us to the end of this demo. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more tutorials like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.